So on that, do you consider what we've got here as an industry, or do you consider it as a profession?
Oh, okay. Well, look, I reckon that we've got to put this debate to one side, this debate about industry versus professions, because I reckon, this is my view, as soon as you can be sued as a professional, you're a professional.
Yeah.
And, as soon as you're obliged to hold professional indemnity insurance, you're a professional. There's certainly an industry, but the industry is made up of thousands of different professionals with different kinds of expertise provided to people. I was just thinking before, like retirement income strategy, Centrelink, aged care, just simple examples. Most retail consumers wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
They seek the expertise of somebody. They seek a fiduciary, hopefully, who's someone who'll take care of them. I think the debate's done. You're a profession.
So how does the Code of Ethics fit into all of that? And what needs to happen to the Code of Ethics moving forward? I mean, obviously, I find it interesting that you can have standard 3 saying, you can't give advice where you have a conflict of interest, and then the explanatory memorandum then goes on to say that, well, actually, we didn't actually really mean that. This is what we meant. I don't want to be the first dude standing in court saying, oh, well, Your Honour, this is what they actually meant. What's your thoughts on the Code of Ethics, where it's at, and what needs to happen?
Oh, well, it's early days. I get asked several times a week by people about what particular standards mean and to particular scenarios. And I mean, you do your best to try and interpret it for people, but there's still a lot of uncertainty, Rob, about what it all is going to mean, because we still don't know what this new disciplinary body is going to look like. They'll be the ones interpreting it. I only hope that their approach to it is going to be, more commercially focused and on the realities of the advisor-client relationship. I'm concerned that it won't be, and that'll be another legalistic process to sort of rate the behaviour of people. It's important. You raised this point the other day about informed consent, and and about maybe it being a way in which we can actually get some non-prescriptive approach to dealing with the way in which advisors get their clients engaged. And this turns on issues like, we haven't talked directly about this yet, but FDS and opt-in is a classic, in my view, a classic over-regulation and misguided regulation that perhaps could be overcome if we were mature enough about it to talk about informed consent and ways in which that standard on informed consent can be used to take away the need for the opt-in and the FDS. Because if you think about it, and I was thinking about this the other day, as the grandfathering ends, all the hubbub around fee for no service, which again we could talk, we could spend a day talking about that, but all the hubbub around fee for no service should basically disappear once that grandfathering ends, which means to me that the idea of opt-in and FDS, which really drove a lot of that, was driven a lot by that fee for no service concern anyway, becomes a bit redundant. And ultimately, the industry can potentially go back and say, well, look, we can be less prescriptive, we can be more practical, and we can give people the freedom to contract with their clients the way they want to, because ultimately the one rule that still matters, which is best interest and putting a client in a better position, is still there. It's not going anywhere. But all this extraneous stuff that's holding us back, it's no longer necessary. Yeah. And to me, like with the Code of Ethics, that is the one positive, that is a positive that I can see coming out of the code. If we can evolve to a place where, the notion of informed consent is, well, your client's got to know what they're paying and what services they're getting delivered, blah, blah, blah. If we can then go and say, we no longer need FDS opt-in, but you've still got to do your informed consent, but the market will come up with a better, more efficient way for that to do it than, some cardigan wearers sitting in Canberra. Correct.